it's well established that North Korea plans on sending troops to fight in Ukraine, but their neighbor to the south might have something to say about it. Just what is South Korea considering doing in response to the North's partnership with Russia? Plus, is Russia doing the world's absolutely most insane summer camp? This is something that I honestly thought was a parody headline, and still I'm not convinced it isn't. But we're going to talk about all of it right now. Let's get into it. Okay. This I thought was really interesting. South Korea will consider supplying arms to Ukraine after Russia and North Korea signed their strategic pact. Now, you know that South Korea, essentially, its entire defense industry exists to counter the North. Not entirely. They also exist to counter some level of claims that China has on some maritime territory, but 99% of their efforts are spent on deterring their neighbor to the north, right? Who, of course, claims that each party claims they are the legitimate government of all of Korea, and they both agree that Korea should be unified just under themselves. But South Korea, of course, when they see the North partnering with Russia, South Korea in turn may say this is an opportunity to strike a blow against our chief rival, right? This is coming from an unnamed senior presidential official in Seoul, just hours after North Korean state media released the details of their partnership with Moscow. The public details were fairly vague, but now in the subsequent announcements, it's became fairly clear that this is a deep defense cooperation agreement, not just exchanging arms, that's something that's already happened, but instead exchanging troops and potentially nuclear technical expertise. So, according to the to at least an unnamed official from the office of the South Korean president, Yoon Suk Yeol, a statement has been issued condemning the agreement, calling it a threat to the country's security and a violation of UN Security Council resolutions, and it would have negative consequences on Seoul's relationships with Moscow. The South Korean foreign minister called it deplorable, this agreement, and most critically, Yoon's national security advisor said that Seoul would reconsider the issue of providing arms to Ukraine to help the country fight off Russia's full-scale invasion. Now, this actually has some teeth to it because the defense industry of North Korea is very, very robust. People vastly underestimate the level of technical sophistication that the South Korean defense industry brings, right? Remember that Korea has been on a kind of war footing thanks to the Korean War that has only ever been established as a ceasefire. It's never actually had a true peace agreement. But this ceasefire has meant that both sides have been ready for war. And for North Korea, that means building a Soviet military on just a really big scale. But for South Korea, it's meant, yes, a general conscription, but it's meant building a deeply modernized military in close partnership with their allies like Japan and the United States, right? So South Korea's defense industry initially existed to produce cheap copies or licensed variants of foreign weapons to meet the demand of its military, right? You can imagine that after the Korean War, there wasn't a lot of economic development to purchase high-end weapon systems or even basic weapon systems or even parts for U.S. weapons that they would largely equip their military with. So they figured out ways to manufacture their own. But by doing so, and by manufacturing increasingly sophisticated weapon systems over the decades, South Korea developed the capability to not just produce its own armaments, but also design originals. Then sometimes very sophisticated systems. According to Defense News, of the top 100 defense companies in the world, South Korea actually owned 4 of those spots, right? So, which is a lot for a country that literally is, by its own admission, half of a country. This includes, of course, their homegrown fighters in the aerospace sector, like the KF-21, again, an advanced multi-role fighter. Samsung Aerospace, right? Same guys that make your, same company that makes all them phones. Also make a mean aircraft. So they've copied a bunch of other ones. They also have a robust shipbuilding industry, and their export is actually they're a considerable arms exporter. And it makes perfect sense, right? Again, they're a industry designed to produce modern weapons at a price that countries can afford, right? The T-50 Golden Eagle, a very, very well-regarded fighter aircraft, as well as a KAI helicopter is exported. A lot of warships. The K9 Thunder, South Korea's most popular export and one of the most popular self-propelled howitzers in the world. You, of course, have the AS-21 Redback and IFV. It's an extensive arms industry. In fact, South Korea is one of the top 10 arms exporters in the world. Now, bear in mind that the U.S., right, still doing, 20 times what South Korea does? A little more. Russia, though, as an exporter, this isn't 2023, though, so Russia probably falling in rank somewhat since it was using its, armed defense industry for other things, still exporting about twice what South Korea would. And again, but this is what South Korea is doing without really trying, just trying to raise money. Just doing arms deals to grow their economy, just regular business as usual. If they were to really commit to supplying Ukraine, if Ukrainian soldiers were, say, killing off their sworn enemy, the North Koreans, might actually they might actually really start to ramp up their export business. So now we're going to talk about something just absolutely insane. But of course, if you're looking to ramp up your own business, you don't need to send guns to Ukraine. You can just get some strike gum, right? Strike gum, 90 milligrams caffeine in every single piece, 100 milligrams alpha GPC, zero sugar. This is superior to an energy drink in every single way, right? It's got all the caffeine of an energy drink, none of the sugar, and 5 of them. 5. This is the equivalent of 5 energy drinks right here. And I was in a gas station the other day. These energy drinks are like $5 now. It's insane. So just for the sake of your pocketbook alone, you should check out Strike Gum. Go to strikegum.com or check it out on Amazon. Just punch in Strike Gum and you'll see it. And thanks to all you guys that have given us the 5-star reviews. That helps tell Amazon customers who don't know me and the channel that this is the veteran-owned energy gum made in the USA, high quality ingredients, only natural caffeine, pulled out of green coffee beans, none of the weird lab-grown stuff that's like encapsulated. And you'll feel it when you chew it. You'll know. You'll be like, oh, I get it. This is why it just hits different, right? So check it out, strikegum.com or Strike Gum on Amazon. Okay, I literally did not believe this story, and I still kind of don't. But Russia has announced, this is not The Onion, that it's going to send children to North Korean summer camp. That's right, guys. North Korean camps. Now, for those of us in the West, if you tell someone that my kid was sent to a North Korean camp, you're going to assume that they did something really stupid and they're probably not coming home. But for some reason, impossibly, the Russians are going to send their own kids to North Korea. What are they going to learn there? I don't want to know. Hopefully not farming. And hopefully not how to build a nuclear weapon. Right? Now, of course, Russia plans to send children to North Korea's Sondavan summer camp. According to Gregory Guov, head of Russia's pro-Kremlin youth group, Movement of the First. Sit on state news agency TASS. So this is an official Moscow announcement. Pyongyang, of course, supplying Moscow with ammunition. And the trip to the North Korean camp scheduled for late July, so those kids probably didn't get a lot of notice that they were going to summer camp. Let's see if I can find if these guys have a website. Let's see. Sondovan summer camp. Oh, buddy. They have photos, but they don't have any reviews, guys. No Google reviews yet. Oh, God. The DPRK guide. The Songdong International Children's Camp. Oh, you got to see this. Oh, man. North Korea. Look, they got swimming. That's from 6 years ago. It's a compound. Look, it's even a compound near a beach, guys. You know what this video doesn't have? You know what doesn't appear here? Humans. There's like a few specks that might be people. Oh man, this place just gives me the creeps. Every North Korean picture just skeeves me out. What are they doing here? Is this this is just this isn't a model of the planets. We don't have 3 suns. There's just a couple of random music notes. There's no words, but it's not clear what we're looking at here. Okay, rowing boats. That's fun, I guess. Okay, that's kind of dope. All right, credit where credit's due. North Korea, goddamn, they can't feed their people, but that is a dope artificial reef. Video games. All right, now we're just listen. Why are you gonna send your kids to video game camp, dude? That's why you send your kids somewhere. And of course, worshiping dictators. That's like a core requisite. Ooh, creepy children's musical performances. It's not a North Korean event without creepy children's musical performances where the kids are being enthusiastic. The kind of enthusiasm you only get if mom and dad will only be released from the gulag if you cheer hard enough. And of course, a fully accurate globe depicting one single Korea somewhere. Right there. Yeah, it's a single Korea and a big old China. Yes, sir. You too can go to this really creepy summer camp. This is like some Squid Game stuff. Oh man, look at that. There's some Western kids. Ooh, they got to be Russian or something. Anyway, those are all from 5 years ago. So anyway, that's if you guys got weird Squid Game vibes too, let me know. Look at this. Oh my God, this is the official website. The Songdong International Children's Camp. Songdong International Children's Camp, located in Kwangan Province outside Wosan, was opened in 1960. Helped North Korea develop relationships with foreign countries by hosting their children for summer camps. Most developed children's school camp in the DPRK. Significant renovations to camps of Marshal Kim Jong-un in 2014 in order to increase capacity to 1,200 students at a time. North Korean children visit the camp, and an additional 400 visitors up to age 16 are welcomed each year from China, Russia, Thailand, Mongolia, and Mexico. The Youth League of Kim Il-sung subsidizes much of the camp's cost so parents abroad can send their kids to the camp, pay just $250 for a typical 2-week stay. Man, it's a good deal, except for the part where you don't get your kids back. I don't know if that's true. I'm sure it's fine. North Korea generally is nice to its allies and incredibly bad to its everyone, its citizens. Right? There's a beach. There's dormitories, gender segregated, an indoor swimming pool, the cool aquarium, credit where credit's due, cooking class, climbing wall, arcade room, main hall, main theater, creepy video. Yes, sir. Nothing weird and dystopian about this. Anyway, guys, if you're one final interesting story, there's one more. I'm not out of stories yet because there's one more interesting one. Apparently, just like every good narcissistic oligarch, it's always nice to see how country borders don't matter. And if you're a rich asshole, your loyalties will always shift when you sense someone else is going to be winning. And many Russian elites are no different. Now that they feel that Russia's winning in Ukraine by seizing empty farmland and villages with populations of less than 10, they now feel that Russia's winning. And therefore, their opposition probably, they don't need to be so critical of the war. Many Russian elites who opposed the war in 2022 started to support it because they, quote, believe Russia is prevailing in the war, given the Russia's slow and steady battlefield gains and the persistent Ukrainian munitions disadvantage, and their own perception of waning Western security assistance. One unspecified Russian oligarch who criticized the war reportedly told Zygar that Russia must win the war, otherwise, quote, they won't allow us to live and Russia will collapse. Didn't say who they was, but it sounds like they may literally be Putin. So, or he may mean his own citizens. Literally, if we don't win the war, Russian citizens are going to string us up and hang us, which would not be the first time in Russian history that that's happened. Right? And Zygar said some Russian elites even started speculating about war outcomes that would constitute a Russian victory. That's not the same thing as believing you're winning. That's the same thing as cope. All right? That is cope. That is not winning. That's like the U.S. being like, well, technically we won in Afghanistan because we caught bin Laden. No, dude. That's just cope. We won because we sent those girls to school for 20 years. Also cope. So again, I'm not even hearing I'm hearing oligarchs rolling out some serious cope. And you would have to too if you were killing 25,000 Russians a day in a country that already has a pretty bad demographic crisis and you were gutting your military age men. It's fine. Disenfranchised men with military training and a chip on their shoulder has never backfired on a country. Anyway, guys, that's all I had for you. Thanks to our Colonel tier members. Thanks to our Lieutenant tier members. And thanks to all the members of CombatVetNews.com. Could not do it without you guys. New site is going to be live hopefully in the next couple days. So thanks so much. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Cheers.